marching in the bug parade. All the bugs are marching in the bug parade. Big ones, little ones, fat ones, skinny ones came today. Oh, all the bugs are marching in the bug parade.
Like which ones?
Well, there were ladybugs,
Yeah.
and there were doodlebugs,
Right, all right.
and there were June bugs, and there were bed bugs, and there were stink bugs, and there were spittle bugs.
Oh, I got to find out about that one. It's that time of the year again, folks, as we check in with the Vice President of Technical Services. The last time I checked with Rose Pest Solution, none other than Mark Sheperdigian. Am I the only one, Shep, who calls you by your full name over there?
Yeah, probably. Most people just call me Shep.
Well, nice to have you with us. Did you hear some of the bugs popping up in that song that introduced you? Whether the impact it's had on this season in terms of the number of those insects in and around our place?
You know, I don't think so. We always talk about the weather. We say, "Oh, hard winter, going to be a summer full of bugs." But you know, it doesn't take but one incident to kind of knock populations down, and it takes kind of a perfect storm to make a great big population. So I don't think the weather affected things. That boy, was that a cold April, huh?
Well, no doubt about it. I would guess, though, in terms of precipitation, and this past May turned out to be, I think, the 5th wettest on record. It in some way, shape, or form affects or impacts the mosquito population?
Well, it does, but keep in mind that while most people get bitten by a mosquito and they slap it, and that's the end of that, there's a lot of different species. There's dozens, 60-some species, I think, here in Michigan. So, and maybe a dozen of them that bite us regularly. Different species come out at different times. There's a group of mosquitoes they refer to as snow melt mosquitoes, early spring mosquitoes that develop in very cold water. That those pools in the spring. You know how it looks like everything's flooded. That's when it's called a vernal pool in the spring, and there's mosquitoes that just breed in that. And they come out and they bite us for a couple of weeks, and we go, "Oh, must be a bad summer for mosquitoes." Nah, just a bad couple of weeks.
And I know
so summer mosquitoes start later, and they've started now.
Yeah, no doubt about that. As an MSU grad working in pest management profession since 1983 and a board-certified entomologist, Shep, there was a bug mentioned in that song, so I guess it's been around for a while, that I've been killing seemingly increasingly in my place. What can you tell us about the one bug, the stink bug? How long has that been around?
So this is actually the one you're worried about is the brown marmorated stink bug.
Huh.
We have a number of stink bugs that are native, but the brown marmorated stink bug is an invasive species. Invasive means it was a foreign species that's been introduced, and it's going to town. Started, I believe, around the turn of the century over on the eastern seaboard, and was so bad 15 years ago, or somewhere in that vicinity, they were driving fruit producers out of business.
Wow!
We certainly hope that does not happen here in Michigan. They've been moving across the nation, and we've certainly got them. Most counties now have seen some brown marmorated stink bugs, and some of us see them pretty bad. Problem with homeowners is they tend to overwinter in your house, and that's what drives homeowners nuts.
Well, and I posted a picture of the different bugs on our Warren Pierce Show Facebook page, including the stink bug, and I killed one last night. They don't seem, although I'm trying to think if it was a brown color or maybe a white color, but they don't seem to be aggressive necessarily. One was sitting on the floor, another one was on the wall. I took time to go get a towelette and go over and kill the thing. So, A, do they stink? And B, what kind of impact can they have on our places?
Well, yeah, they're pretty calm. They don't spend too much time running away, although I'm sure if they knew your true intentions, they would have made a greater effort. Now, they call them stink bugs because the whole group has a scent gland that, when you crush it, lets off an odor. The brown marmorated stink bug doesn't have too bad a stink, and it's not the kind of thing that would drive you nuts. impact on our homes isn't too much as long as there aren't too many of them. Overwintering pests, there's a lot of insects that'll come in for the winter, come in the fall. They show up in the wintertime, and then they leave in the spring. And that's what's happening now is these are the last farm-raised stink bugs leaving. They should be gone, and you won't see them for the rest of the summer until they decide it's time to go in for the winter again. Now, understand that not all of them go out. So if they can get into your house, into the walls and those kind of the attics, they'll die there. A bunch of dead bugs in the walls might not seem like a big deal. In fact, they probably have a pretty decent R value, but I've never checked. However, they will breed some other beetles that eat dead insects. And that could be a problem. You wouldn't want that. Best thing to do is to walk around your house and look for the little cracks that a bug could walk into and have them sealed. There is a treatment that can be done and that you should do towards the end of the summer that will reduce the number that go in the house.
And very quickly here, ticks are in the news, seemingly more than in past seasons, Shep.
Well, it's true. More ticks are on the rise, and there may be a number of reasons for that. But we're seeing more and more, and we're even seeing ticks coming into the state that haven't been here previously.
And what kind of damage can they do, not only to the house, but on humans?
Well, most people get pretty freaked out about ticks, and I got to admit, you should be careful. Ticks can carry some pretty horrible diseases, which would give one reason to not want to be bitten by ticks. So,
what Lyme disease, for example?
Yeah, there you go. It was escaping my mind. There's a disease you got to mention. Yes, Lyme disease is horrible and pretty widespread. Spread by a tiny little tick. Most people don't see until it becomes engorged on them or that kind of thing, or they may never see it. What you do end up with, though, the telltale sign is usually a spreading red rash. Take that to a doctor.
Well, lots to look out for. People want more information. We're out of time now. They can just call you guys?
You sure can. Call us at 1-800-966-ROSE or visit us at www.rosepestsolutions.com.
All right. Thanks for checking in with us this morning. And there was no odor. I squished that little stink bug, and I didn't smell anything. So
no, they're not so bad, but but he's probably pretty put out.
Yeah, I'm so lethargic. I don't know. Maybe he was still in a hangover from the winter. We'll talk again, Shep. Thanks for getting with us this morning.
Thank you, Warren.
You're welcome.